Hi friends, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for clicking on this video. So, as you can tell from the background of this video, I have moved. I'm currently living in this beautiful place for an awesome reason, and I will tell you all about that and update you guys on what's going on in my life in the next video, so stay tuned for that. But as the title of this video suggests, today I am doing a bullet journal Q&A, and I will also be addressing a transition in my life with bullet journaling, specifically quitting and taking a break for the time being. But more on that at the end of this video. I just wanted for us to have a little get together today, a little chit chat about bullet journaling, because I feel like bullet journaling in of itself is quite the personal activity, and with it being quite an individualistic activity, we often go through peaks and valleys alone. And I just want to open the floor to discussion so we can just be frank and honest and upfront about, what we've been going through individually, and so that I have an opportunity to talk to you frankly about what I've been going through. Grab your coffee or your tea or your whatever drink of choice or some snacks, and let's begin. Questions from Instagram. How do you keep your list focused on what matters and not overwhelm yourself? I think in order for you to have a helpful to-do list and one that really helps you get stuff done is to first figure out where you are going to keep your to-do list. Is the bullet journal the right location? Is a planner better? Would it be a digital platform like Notion or Trello or Asana or just an Excel spreadsheet? It could help to brain dump absolutely everything that you have in your head and then sort out those tasks into a few major categories in your life. Like you can do a work one, school, household, and then personal, or you can sort your tasks into high priority or low priority. I think creating that kind of structure, these kind of parameters, can help prevent, anxiety and getting into a state of being overwhelmed. Make your to-do list actionable, so use very descriptive, specific verbs when describing your tasks. Like, it would not help for you to write down complete English paper as a task, because it's that doesn't tell you much. Where do you start? How do you start it? When do you start it? When is it due? You don't know, right? On focusing what matters, if you have tasks that are low value or mundane or repeated every day, it could help to make a habit tracker, like a weekly habit tracker or a monthly habit tracker. And so it will allow you to have that space to check in and to tick off what you need to do and not have to write tasks repeatedly every day. And lastly, most importantly, I think, especially for me, is prayer. And if you don't pray, it's more like just taking some time for yourself and taking a step back, closing your eyes, breathing, and listening, waiting, because with prayer, I am relieving myself of the responsibility of the control I think I have about how the day goes and about the responsibilities I am trying to uphold. Sometimes we get so caught in the hamster wheel, if you will, of just getting things done, that we actually put an even greater burden on ourselves, and we create these, impossible expectations for ourselves, which is unhealthy. And so I think with me, when I pray and I ask my Heavenly Father, what is it that I need to do today? How can I serve you today? What is your will for me today? And how can I align my will to yours today? And it honestly just takes the pressure off, and it just helps you to not beat up yourself over not getting everything done. Do your hands ever get tired? Do you do hand stretches? No, my hand doesn't, unless I do journaling pages on end, then yes. Expense tracker spread ideas. So I've linked a couple of videos in the description box below where I feature some expense trackers, so check that out. Prompts to connect emotionally with yourself. I don't do prompt journaling personally, even though I've made videos on it, but here are a few prompts for you. Number 1, when have you felt your weakest? Number 2, what beliefs or values do you believe are important to you? And do your actions align with those beliefs? And lastly, number 3, what is something that you wished for or wanted or aspired for or to be that you have now let go of, and what has letting go taught you? Why is bullet journaling so time-taking and not just really easy to cop up with? Because bullet journaling is the constant, if not daily, process of designing and curating a planning, organizing, journaling system from the ground up. I think I'm considered to be quite the minimalist bullet journaler within the community, but even I occasionally find that bullet journaling can be quite time consuming. If I find that bullet journaling feels time consuming, it's often because I'm making spreads that no longer resonate with me anymore. This could be because like the needs in my life have changed and therefore my bullet journal spreads are not reflecting my current needs, or it could be because that I'm overcomplicating my organizational system. I think the bullet journal system was created to help you, to ideally save you some time. And I think if it's not doing that, you're gonna have to start from the drawing board and figure out a whole new system, or it's even about taking a break from bullet journaling. And there's certainly no harm in stepping away and trying something else. Have you done prayer journaling? What is your setup? Yes, I have. I'm currently figuring out a prayer journaling system right now. I've stopped for the time being, but I do have a video on my previous setup linked in the description box below. Questions from YouTube. How often do you fill out or review your bullet journal throughout the day? I think it depends. If I am having a really busy day where I am relying heavily upon my bullet journal to, stay on task and to make sure I am progressing with my projects, then I will feel more inclined to keep checking on it and to constantly review and fill out what's needed. It just depends, I just do it as much as I need to. There is no set amount of times or something. But there are days when I don't even touch my bullet journal, whether it's because I forget to check in with my bullet journal or it's because I don't have that much going on, so I don't need to even use it. So it really depends. What spreads do you not use? I have a lot of spreads I don't use. I will shift over to my right and I will just show you a visual example of the spreads that I don't use, but this is certainly no jab or diss to the specific bullet journalers who have created these wondrous, beautiful spreads. These are just spreads that I simply don't use at all and that I personally don't find helpful for me. First up, tracker spreads. I don't do habit trackers, period trackers, workout trackers, mood trackers, sleep trackers, whatever trackers there are. I have tried a couple of them and they've never really stuck. Collection spreads. So this is like, books that I want to read, books I have read, TV shows or movies that I've watched or want to watch, monthly favorites / monthly memories, a goals page, a vision board, a playlist spread. I also don't do a monthly cover page, as you may have noticed in my Plan With Me videos, because I just go straight into my linear calendar and that is it. Lastly, I don't really do weekly logs because I find myself more gravitating towards daily logging or rapid logging. I'm new to bullet journaling, but I still find myself procrastinating a lot. Any tips for better time management? So are you procrastinating like on bullet journaling, like making the spreads themselves, or are you procrastinating on the tasks you set out for yourself in your bullet journal? I have 3 videos that may help. So first one is bullet journaling for productivity. Second is habit tracking with bullet journaling and learning the process of habit stacking. Number 3 is learning some 6 easy practical time management tips. But for me, I feel like procrastination goes beyond bullet journaling. Like, I don't need a bullet journal for me to realize that I can be quite the serial procrastinator, but that's just me. One spread I think has really helped me with that is the rolling weekly spread. I know it's a hit or miss for people. What I really like about that spread is being able to have a bird's eye view of my day-to-day tasks, whilst also being able to look far enough into the near future, which is usually the end of the week, to see what's coming up ahead and to be able to gauge at both ends, if you will. I also think that finding out what you actually need to get done is better than compiling a master to-do list of things and then just staring at it in analysis paralysis and dismay of what you need to get done. I think if you have any low value or like not essential to-dos, compile them into a would like to do list versus a to do or should do kind of list. Or maybe it's about splitting your time into smaller time chunks than looking at your one day to do list as an entire day's worth of tasks, if that makes sense. So it could help to break down your tasks into windows of time, like before noon, you want to get these things done. And then before 3 o'clock, you want to get these things done. And then before 6 o'clock, you want these things done. What have you learned from using your bullet journal this year? Positives and negatives. Positives, I think, would be that lined notebook bullet journaling is fun and is inexpensive and a great way to bullet journal if you haven't already tried it or are already doing it, especially with how the prices of things now are just skyrocketing and escalating to new heights, and not in a good way. Being able to journal in a more affordable, accessible way has been a long time coming, to be honest, and I hope you try it out. Negatives. Well, I feel like a negative for me is succumbing to the pressure of feeling like I need to post bullet journal content, because let's be real, I think most people online who searches me out or searches bullet journal content would know me for my bullet journal content. It is the stuff that brings in the views. It is the stuff that I mostly make, even though I do make other kinds of content. And in a way, that has created a lot of friction in my personal relationship with bullet journaling, because where is the line between sharing what you like to do online because you know you have found something that works for you and you just want to share it to see if anybody resonates, versus pumping out content because you're known for it and that's your job, regardless of whether or not it resonates with you anymore. First world problem, I know. I mean, I could just get over it, to be honest, but I still want to be honest in my content creation and not performative. Do you use Note or GoodNote or Notion for daily recording? No, I don't. I only use my bullet journal. I actually don't even do any daily recording or reflection journaling. I unfortunately cannot handle multiple systems of organizing, scheduling, planning, and journaling. And I think it's best that I don't try, to be honest. Next one is a bit of a tough one for me personally. So this is about the problem of writing down tasks you've completed more in your bullet journal than you use your bullet journal for planning ahead. I don't think I've personally run into this issue. Like sometimes I will write a few tasks I've already done in my daily log just so I can feel that sense of accomplishment that I've done it. If anyone has any advice or their thoughts, please let me know and let this beautiful person know down in the comments below so we can help them out. Would this be happening because you're not planning with your bullet journal in order to plan? Are you not using your bullet journal in a way to orient yourself to look far ahead enough into the future so you could create steps for yourself to accomplish your goals and tasks? I hope as an example with what I'm trying to say is that, let's say you have a paper due by the end of the week on Friday and today's Monday, and maybe you are using your bullet journal in a way that you cannot see that far into the future and therefore you cannot plan that far into the future because let's say you're constantly focused more on the day-to-day tasks. So maybe that's about creating a different spread so that you can see those deadlines and tasks coming up further in the future where it needs some planning ahead. So maybe it's about creating like a weekly log, let's say, and then you can see Monday and Friday on like one spread, like on 2 pages. And then from there, you can just reverse engineer from your goal or your task and work out and plan out the steps in which you need to take in order to complete that said task. Can we keep 2 bullet journals at the same time? Yeah, sure, I don't see why not. If it works for you, then it works for you, right? How to stay motivated to bullet journal consistently. I have a video addressing briefly about motivation in my How to Start Bullet Journaling Again video, which is linked there and down there. But here are some things that could help you possibly with motivation. Firstly, it is okay to have a low point or a lull in your bullet journaling journey. It happens to everyone. It certainly has happened to me multiple times. So feel no pressure in taking a break or stepping away. Secondly, figure out your why. Remember your why. Like, why do you want to use the bullet journal method? In what ways do you want the system to help you out? Next, go back to basics and start from the original system to like Ryder Carroll's video on how to start a bullet journal, or you could check out my video on how to start a bullet journal and go from there. Another tip with motivation is to maybe make a bullet journaling playlist or a soundtrack, and so that could get you into the groove and in the mood for bullet journaling. And lastly, try bullet journaling with your friends, whether online through like a Zoom or video call situation or in person. Or maybe if your friends don't bullet journal specifically, but they may like do sticker journaling or art journaling or scrapbooking, or they have a planner. Maybe it's about just getting together at someone's house or going to a really cute cafe and spending time journaling together, and that could spark some motivation and some inspiration in you to continue bullet journaling. Why do I feel unmotivated every time I feel like I want to start bullet journaling? Well, there are a plethora of possibilities as to why you could be feeling unmotivated or unenthusiastic about starting bullet journaling. Here are some. So you could just be so overwhelmed with the idea of building a system of planning and organizing and journaling for yourself that it feels like a really tall mountain for you to climb over. You could be too fixated on perfectionism and wanting every spread to be right to the point where you can't even start. Or you could be unmotivated because you're focusing on things that don't really actually matter that much to you, like maybe aesthetics or making spreads that you would want them to be useful to you, but you don't actually find them useful to you in reality. Maybe you're unmotivated because you find yourself stuck in this revolving door of missing days, weeks, months of bullet journaling only to come back to it to only quit again. Or maybe bullet journaling isn't for you, and perhaps there is a method, a system of planning, scheduling, and organizing that you have yet to try out. Which brings me to my bullet journaling update for you. Wasn't that a smooth transition? Quitting bullet journaling. Yes, I am quitting bullet journaling for the time being, and I have for about a month and a half now. I still use my notebook when I need to make a to-do list, like, for the day, then I will whip it out and use it, but I'm not creating spreads, nor am I keeping up with the system anymore. Let's rewind a bit, shall we? I started bullet journaling back in 2015 or 2016, and I was in a different chapter in my life. I was in school, I had deadlines to meet, I had never gravitated towards a planner ever. Bullet journaling was on the rise then, and it seemed like the perfect solution to my journaling desires. Create a journal that can grow and change as you grow and change, that's pretty sick. From these 6 to 7 years of bullet journaling, I have gone through multiple waves of peaks and valleys, and bullet journaling isn't a means to perfection, as I've always said on this channel. It is about the process, and it has never been a one perfect solution that solves all problems. I'm quitting bullet journaling because it's not helping me like it used to. And that's partly because the needs of my life have been changing, my life has been changing, and therefore I feel like I'm due for a new way of planning, structuring, organizing, and scheduling my life. And partly it's because it's not fun or exciting like it used to be anymore. And partly it's also because there's been a disconnect within me of personally bullet journaling and then also being a bullet journal content creator. I know that if you look at my first video on my channel, it is a plan with me video, but I actually started out this channel doing lifestyle videos / vlogs, and they are hidden because they went nowhere and they were absolutely horrendous. They will never see the light of day on this channel. It was just so bad. And I created this plan with me video because I was like, well, I bullet journal as well, and I just want to see what people think, and I'll just put one out there and see what happens. And I did more of this kind of content, and eventually my channel grew, now up to 52,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. It was so exciting during that time of growth, but also that time in my bullet journal journey, because I was discovering my way of bullet journaling and it was really working for me, and I got to also share it online, and that just got me motivated to create more, because I was like, this is working for me and I'm happy that it's working for you, or it's encouraging you to, and here we are like on this uphill climb and it's going great, and I'm excited and very enthusiastic about it. But with that being said, I personally want to stress that I've never been an avid fan of journaling or like notebooks. I've never been a stationery junkie. I've never cared about the type of pens you use or the ink you use or the stickers you use or any of that stuff, which I see a lot of the journaling community have interest in. That's great, but it's just never been something for me. Coming from that, I don't want my channel to be strictly about journaling or bullet journaling, because that's not my entire identity as a human being, and that's not the only interest I have. I'm entering into a new chapter in my life where I am married and I'm not in school anymore, so things are changing, you know what I mean? And I want my channel to grow and change as I grow and change. I'm saying this because I don't want to freak you out or scare you away. Change can be scary because it can feel like you're being suspended in midair and you don't know where you're gonna land. But that's also the beauty in change, right? Is not knowing where you're going to be placed, but also knowing that you're going to be just where you need to be. I know that my bullet journaling content brings in new viewership and it brings in the views and engagement, and I lose subscribers every single time I post something other than bullet journaling. And that's just a fact. It is what it is, but I don't want the stats to get to me to prevent me from just being me. I hope that you will be open to being a part of the journey wherever this channel takes us. I certainly will continue to make bullet journaling content, but it just won't be at the frequency it used to be. I ultimately hope that the library I have produced with my bullet journal content is sufficient enough and enough for you to consume for the time being until I make a new video on bullet journaling. So what is happening now with my personal journal journey? I'm still using my bullet journal occasionally, but I have recently made a purchase of a Hobonichi planner. Please forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. If it works out and I like it and I feel comfortable on it, I will share it with you, but we shall see. I have no idea. So there we have it. This is the end of the video. This has been a major bullet journal Q&A as well as major Bujo update. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any advice or thoughts on bullet journaling, please leave them down in the comments below. I and many others would love to read about your journey. As always, thank you very much for your viewership and your love and support. I appreciate it and I'm immensely grateful to you. Take care, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.